Welcome to the Minor Basketball Podcast Playoff Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this is our basketball podcast playoff special where we recap, break down, analyze players and teams in the playoffs from the previous games from the previous few days. And Ja, there's a lot of stuff that we missed. Some series ended, some series extended. Let's start off with one series that just ended just last night. And man, Game 6 Clay is real. It is very real. As the Golden State Warriors, after that embarrassing loss in Game 5, put the Memphis Grizzlies out their misery and advance to the Western Conference Finals. Your thoughts, Ja?
Now, this is crazy, man. The bounce back for Golden State has been real. And just like we said, Game 6 Clay is real. That's no wonder he was struggling this whole series, because he knew that the moment Game 6 hit, he was going to turn it up. That's the reason he tricked us all. He baited this into this. But yeah, Golden State, man, just man, it's kind of crazy to see them back in this situation. Just making it the finals just like 3 years ago, to missing the postseason just for 2 straight years, and now they're back on top. Well, as possibly be back on top. It's a beautiful sight to watch, and it was just great. The Grizzlies put up a fight this whole series, and they put up this fight this final game. And I legit thought that Memphis got them for a second. I really thought that Memphis really got them, because Golden State did kind of look vulnerable for the first 3 quarters, or forget that, the first 3.5 quarters, and then that 6-minute mark hit, and then they look like the Warriors. Stephen Curry looked like 2015, 2016 Curry, and then Game 6 Clay came along, who's been killing it the whole game, and things just flowed well for them. It just flowed well, and great job by Memphis, but they gotta go wrap it up, I don't know.
Yeah, I just touch upon Clay Thompson. I mean, the fact that you brought it up that he was struggling for this series, how, he was struggling for most of the series. He was inconsistent. He was inefficient, and yet Game 6 hits, and it's just turns on the switch. And I know there's many players out there with their nicknames and all that, right?
Yeah.
Their special moments and their special kind of versions of them. But this is it. I mean, this is a prime example of what it looks like.
Yeah.
He didn't touch 30 for this whole series.
Yeah.
And then Game 6 hits, and from the jump, he's hitting threes. He's knocking down shots. He's efficient. What the hell? It's real.
They knew that Game 6 Clay was real, because you know what they brought up? They brought up the infographic, the little small graphic of what he did back in 2016 at OKC. That's how you knew it was real to them.
Yeah, don't mention that to KD.
Shoot, well, he's at home. He has no choice but to see it.
And you mentioned Curry as well. And Curry was another one who was kind of struggling and shooting the ball in this series. Not as much as Clay, but still struggling shooting the ball. You see, he wasn't clearly not 100% Curry. But in this game, when they needed him the most in that fourth quarter, he was there.
Yeah.
He stepped up big time and hit the big shots after big shot after big shots. And that's what helped them win this game.
Yeah. That's what he's the ghost shooter. You know what I mean? And people like him are made for moments like that, clutch time, where your team has the opportunity to close out a game or whatsoever, things like that, and it's in the most important moments. When you got the title like he has and the play style that he has, of course he's going to eventually find some way to try to come alive. And I felt it was going to come on. I really did felt it, even though I felt like Golden State kind of still looked vulnerable. I said, if Stephen Curry just hits at least one shot within an important moment of the game in that fourth quarter, it was going to be up for wraps from there because Klay Thompson's been hot the whole night. Kevin Looney grabbing like every rebound known to
Yo,
man.
he was big time. He was big time.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins showing up big in the second half. It's just like they were still, and both teams were still sticking in there, and that's all. That's all that Curry needs, just for it to be a close game, so he could just go like that.
You mentioned two players that I want to touch upon a little bit. Kevin Looney, like every offensive rebound, snagged 11 of them and 22 rebounds in the game.
Yeah.
Big reason why they won this game. And Andrew Wiggins, who in the second half, because the first half he was a little bit cold, in the second half, showing that he was an all-star this year, because I've been forgetting. He was an all-star. And he was proving why he was an all-star in this game. And they need that performance from him. And defensively, for the Warriors, they made the stops they needed to defensively in the big stretches, in the big stages, because when you're in a close game and you're an experienced championship team against an inexperienced team, 10 times out of 10, you're winning that game. Same thing happened in game 4 when the Golden State had no business winning that game.
Yeah.
But they pulled it out in the end. And same situation here, because Mike Brown is never mind. But you can see that maybe now the Warriors, they use this because they have some weaknesses to their game. I think you can get them inside. You could really dominate them in the paint. I think the Grizzlies is kind of proving that a little bit.
Yeah.
And they can go on a lot of stretches where they kind of rush their shots. They kind of rush their offense. They just turn the ball over a lot. I mean, a lot of that happened in this game as well. And they just want the 3 ball all the time, and they can get caught up in that moment. And so you can see they have weaknesses.
Yeah, they do. But I'll tell you this, this is one of those rare moments in which they have their weaknesses, but their strength outshines the most, and you clearly seen it within that last minute of the game. And no team wants to see that. Trust me, no team wants to see that. And that's the reason why I'm just like, whoever wins that Dallas versus Phoenix, it's going to be kind of scary for them because it's just like, again, just like you, I have Phoenix, like, going to the finals, but I'm just like, now they got to go through Golden State. And I don't know what Golden State is capable of doing, especially in moments like these. When they get it going, it's just like, you really have no chance but to pack your bags and just go back home. So,
we'll get to that Dallas and Phoenix series in a minute, but now talk about the Grizzlies. I want to talk about their season. They had a great run. They had a great season. Yeah. A step up from last year and a step up from 2 years. They went from playing to playing winners and 8th seed to winning to 2nd seed and winning a series and taking the Golden State Warriors to 6, 3 games without their star player in John Morant.
Yeah.
And they really did show some weaknesses to the Warriors in which maybe the Mavericks or Suns can exploit in the next round. Or maybe if the Warriors even make it to the finals, the East, whoever comes out the East can exploit that. I mean, they did a really good job against an elite team. So they deserve a lot of credit. Dylan Brooks, enemy number 1 in Golden State. Dirty player. Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, even though he was a little bit inconsistent in this series, but he stepped up in the final game of the series. All of them deserve credit. Kyle Anderson, Tillman, Milton, Adams, who came back in this series.
Jaren.
Jaren Jackson, who had a great series as well. Brandon Clark. All of these guys, Taylor Jenkins, you clearly see that he has this foundation. He has a structure. He has something going with this Memphis team. And they're going to be dangerous, very dangerous in these next few years in the NBA. But right now, it's not their time.
Yeah, man. It's just a part of their journey. And they've been through so much adversity already where they've been down and out, but yet they found some way to push it back in. And this is just adding on to why, if they could stick together and if Memphis doesn't do anything stupid like trading any of these pieces away, that they're going to be dangerous for years to come because they're battle tested at this point. They already proved that they're battle tested, and they're just continuing to add on to that to strengthen it in a way, as I might say. So yeah, just everybody watch out for Tennessee, the Tennessee Blues.
Yep. So respect to the Memphis Grizzlies, but you're on to Cancun as your seasons ends, and the Golden State Warriors advance and are one series away from making it back to the NBA Finals. But before we finish talking about the West, we got to talk about the East and another series that ended just 2 days ago. The Miami Heat finished off the Philadelphia 76ers in embarrassing fashion for the Sixers because they came back into the series, with Embiid making that miraculous return in Game 3 out of nowhere, a return that got them fined. But
they were supposed to announce it before anything?
Yeah, they got fined for that.
I didn't know that. Shit.
But Embiid comes back, and then now you see the flow changes, the energy changes, the feeling changes. They get 2 big wins in Philly. James Harden, who had that amazing game in Game 4, Houston showing signs of Houston Harden. Thought he was going to get that for the rest of the series. In Game 5, they got absolutely dismantled.
Yeah.
And then in Game 6, thinking that, maybe they could try to save their season. And in the second half, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Look, I'll say this, right? For the Philadelphia side, right? Let's be honest. This series was, if Joel Embiid didn't make that return, one thing it showed is the impact of Joel Embiid. Just straight up. You saw it the moment he came back. You saw how much that Philly team just changed because they eventually ended up doing what? Getting 2 wins. Getting 2 wins on this Miami Heat team who, to be honest, if he did not come back, was going to dust them in those next 2 games, basically sweep them. And you clearly see what happened once he came back and how it changed the flow in the course. But with a team like Miami, you already know what they're going to do. They're going to make adjustments. And it was just unfortunate because Philadelphia couldn't get nothing out of their other players from that point out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Joel only averaged like 20, which I can understand is Russ coming back. And, he's the main focal point. Because, again, let's be honest, Philadelphia, outside of their starting lineup, they don't really have that much depth. And that's what you could clearly see. Or they're not utilizing the depth that they have off the bench. Shake Milton didn't have that strong, even though he did end up having a good Game 6. The Shake Milton didn't have that strong of a series, Thibault didn't really do much, It's just it's like they don't have any other pieces that you could go to off their bench. And also, when you look at the starting lineup, James Harden, I know we know about his struggles already in the postseason, but this is probably the worst of him since he's been a true legit superstar. This is his worst since he's truly been a legit superstar. Had that good Game 4. You think he could keep it up? Couldn't show up. Couldn't do what the reason why he was brought here to do, because they expected so much from him coming from New York to Philly, and he just couldn't really live up to it. So now he's on the table. He's got to be questioned. And the only bright spot that you could look at it really is Tyrese Maxey for them. That's the only bright spot I'm looking at when you look at this postseason run for Philly. It's just really just Tyrese Maxey. And nobody could blame Doc Rivers because it's not Doc Rivers' fault either.
I think it's just funny. But, yeah, James Harden, now credit to the Miami Heat defense, yes. They did a great job on him, trapping him, sending doubles at him, sending guys at him. Also, they have great individual defenders as well. But if you're James Harden and you're one of the greatest offensive players of all time, you're one of the best players of this generation, you only shoot the ball twice in the second half in a win-or-go-home situation. You kidding me? I'm not going with that. No, I'm not letting that buy. You have to be more aggressive. And as sometimes in this series, you can tell like he wasn't aggressive. The first two games of the series, it kind of looked like he wasn't aggressive.
No, yeah,
But he needed aggressive James Harden.
yeah. He wasn't. He wasn't. No, he wasn't. You know what I mean? And you can clearly say, and you can't make the mistake if you said certain players outplayed him on both sides, like in terms of like whether you could pick a player from Miami or somebody from straight up Philadelphia. There's like Harden did not play up to the standards that he needed to play at in order for this team. Again, this team had championship aspirations. He had championship aspirations, and he came there with the thought of that he's leaving Brooklyn because their situation was uncertain to come to the situation in which they feel like they could possibly win a championship, and they was riding on him to be that Robin to back up Joel Embiid and get them to even if they don't win a chip, at least get them to the promised land, right? And he couldn't do it. So and now it's a bad look on him at this point because I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if they're gonna run it back. I don't know if he's gonna try to make some arguments about contracts, about money. He probably in the club right now, anyways.
Yeah, there have been reports that saying that they're gonna bring everybody back, Doc Rivers and James Harden. But who knows? But they brought back Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. So Tobias Harris over me. I mean, please. And now let's move into the Miami Heat. This Miami Heat team, out of every team in the playoffs that I've seen, they have shown to have the least amount of weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
These guys can shoot, they can defend, they can post, score inside, they can run on a fast break, they can run slow tempo offense, high tempo offense, pick and rolls. I mean, they can guard your best player, shut them down, Trae Young, James Harden, Embiid. But credit, Embiid was playing with like 3 different injuries. So his head hurt, his nose hurt, his thumb hurt.
Hey, you know what they say in the NBA? Well, in sports, like when somebody's wounded, you kill the wounded because somebody got to eventually lose, right? And that's what they did to Embiid. And it was crazy. The defense was beautiful of what they did to Embiid because they knew that for a fact you wasn't going to get anything else from any of the other Sixers players. Well, again, just Tyrese Maxey, but that's it. But you wasn't gonna get anything else from the other Sixers players. So all you gotta do is just constantly do like a 5-on-1. Like they was legit doing double teams, triple teams, bumping him, and he loves the contact. Like Joel Embiid hit the ground like how many times in that game? Like so many times. Like it was just, they knew what to do. The Heat, they make defense look sexy. I legit told that to our friend one time, just talking about it. I was like, they make defense look sexy, bro. And just everything that they do from both ends of the floor, and just the mentality that they come in with is like next man up, no matter what your roles, whether you're the star, the sixth man, or just the 12th man on the bench. Like, everybody has a value contribution to the team, and you clearly seen it. Because Jimmy Butler was obviously their best player, but Max Strus, his name is, right?
Yes.
Like he legit stepped up big time. Like he kind of potentially won the player of the game, like it's 2K.
Yeah, Max Strus was big time. Max Strus was big time. Tyler Hero was big time in this series. Of course, Jimmy Butler, their superstar player, Bam Adebayo, of course, he had help guarding Embiid. He was great defensively.
I heard what you said.
They have it all. They have it all. I mean, they have the 6-man.
They got their superstar. They got their superstar.
They got their star player. They got their 6-man of the year. They have the least amount of weaknesses out of everybody left in the playoffs. Does that mean they're going to win?
No.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from this Miami Heat team. I'm loving what I'm seeing, and we'll see what happens with them, as they were the first team to advance into the conference finals. They are awaiting the winner of the Bucks and the Celtics series. Speaking of the Bucks and the Celtics series, thanks to Tatum, there's a game 7.
Yes, sir.
JT, in an incredible duel with him and Giannis. I mean, and Giannis was getting double teamed and triple teamed, and he was in foul trouble. And you just saw he just wanted to just score.
I really hate that.
I hate that too. But he was doing everything in his willpower to score, no matter who was on him, no matter who was guarding him, no matter how many bodies the Celtics threw at him, and they threw bodies at him, and he dunked on them. It was just he just out there to go get it. This is why people love Giannis. This is why I love Giannis. He just goes out there to just go and get it.
I didn't want to do this, but I have to say, like, after what he did this game, I was just like, yeah, I'm sorry. He's better than KD. I was just like, I'm sorry, KD. I said, yeah, you're more talented than him, and like in all time, you're still going to be the best or the greatest. But like, he's probably the best player in the world right now, arguably the best player in the world right now. Like,
listen, Giannis is the best player in the world.
Yeah, man.
To me, at least.
Just, I don't know what to say. Like this, like nothing. Just like with his mentality and his motor, like nothing faces him. Nothing legit faces him. It's just like, you thought Boston could find some way, in which they actually did. They actually got him into some foul trouble. So the game plan that they've been trying to run in terms of trying to get him to be that aggressive to work in their favor has been working a little bit.
And don't get me wrong, and Al Horford, when Al Horford was matched up with him, Al Horford's done a good job.
Yeah.
He's done a good job.
Yeah.
Grant Williams also done a pretty good job. But Giannis is just a different animal. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
Exactly. And that's all that it is. It's like, they're doing a great job and they're going well with their game plan. Because again, the series has came up to, well, you're gonna say the end result, but like, they have done it. They have done a great job. It's just that, again, Giannis is unfazed, unlike KD.
Yeah, Giannis is really unfazed, and he had 44 and 20 in this game, and this was his third game in the series to have 40. This man is a monster. He's a monster, but it just so happened that he didn't get as much help as Tatum did on his side. Tatum, had 46 and hit clutch shots and big shots late in that game to really close out and put the nail in the coffin in this game 6. But he also had Marcus Smart, and he also had Jaylen Brown, who had over 20. And they needed that because they couldn't go back and forth between Tatum and Giannis, because if that would have happened, the Bucks would have won.
Yeah, and what worked in Boston's advantage was the 3-point. They did way better than the 3-point shooting this game than Milwaukee, And again, in this league, obviously threes will always be better than twos to people, because obviously it will be more points and it will give you more of a benefit as the game go along. And that's what happened for Boston. There was streaks. There was times in which there was like certain times in which Boston got on a roll, in which, like, they got hot and they went on a roll and you really could have stopped them until they legit went cold themselves. Then Milwaukee was, but then they would just get back to it. It'd just be like a back and forth exchange of hot and cold,
Yeah, exactly. And Milwaukee, they tried their best to stay within this game. I mean, they wouldn't give up. They wouldn't go away.
Exactly.
But the Celtics stayed true to their game plan. They stayed true to their strategy. They didn't panic. And they were the ones that ended up making the big shots and making the key defensive stops late in the game to close this game out. Exactly. Unlike game 5.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart didn't get locked up by Drew Holiday this time. So it was a good win for Boston. But hey, game 7. Yeah. Now, you have to make your prediction. I'm telling you right now, you have to make your prediction. It's game 7. First of two on Sunday. Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics.
Okay.
Winner faces the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, really quickly, just do this. Like, go to Google, type in coin flip, and and do we do heads?
No, we're not doing that. You're picking a team. You've dodged this whole time.
All right,
we both said it will be a game 7.
All right, I'll do it myself.
You gotta pick, man.
I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna let the coin.
No, use your skills and your basketball knowledge to determine who you think will win. It's not a life or death situation. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
All right. Since they don't got Middleton, I'm gonna go with Boston. That's it. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, because I wouldn't be shocked anyways. It could go either way. But yeah, I got Boston. I got Boston winning by 1 point.
You want to bet it? It would be a shame if Boston loses another game on their home floor.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a shame?
It would.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm sticking with my original prediction. I got Boston. My original prediction was Boston in 7. And I stayed true to it, even though the Bucks won game 5 and went up 3-2.
Yep.
So I'm still sticking true to it again. Boston in 7. Got Boston facing Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. Despite Giannis probably dropped 50, but I think they still got it. And lastly, the last series to talk about, the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. And man, this series has just been a roller coaster. Starting off from a 2-0 lead by the Phoenix Suns and the incredible performances by D Book and Chris Paul. And with the Dallas Mavericks, other players not showing up, it was really just Luka against the Suns. And then in game 3 and in game 4, what happens? The other guys step up. Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith. Now Luka has help. And now they shut down Chris Paul. I don't know what the hell's been happening with him. That's Cliff Paul.
It's Cliff Paul. Let me just say 2 things. One is people tend to forget how good of a coach Jason Kidd is. Let's just be honest about that. That's 1. And 2, we already saw what happened to Phoenix when they once had a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, but they lost 4 straight in that game, in that series. They didn't lose 4 straight in the series. So
still
it's different.
You saw the outcome.
Either way, the Mavericks tie the series with their defense and with the other guys stepping up. Game 5, Suns bounce back. They get a big win on their home floor. And then game 6, Dallas just dismantles them, blows them out.
Yep, on their home floor, yep.
And now we're going back to Phoenix. The home team has won every single game in this series. So, are you sticking with your guns? Are you sticking with Suns?
The Suns kind of scare me now. I don't know what to really say, but look, I just want to say this one thing. I'm just gonna say this one thing, and we can end it here. D Book, you can't talk shit one game and then let this happen. I'm sorry. Luka special, yeah, Luka special. He showed you game 6, all right. He showed you game 6. He's special. You can't talk. You gotta look it. This is everybody got you as favorites as you guys at the top, for all the other teams that was probably at the top being out or being in the other conference. You guys are in the Western Conference. People look at you as the top dogs, even over Golden State. You better do something about it. That's all I'm going to say. You guys better not fall to this, because Chris Paul, you're 37. I don't know if you're going to ever get this back.
I am 100% agree. I think this is the best chance for Chris Paul to get that coveted ring that he's so deservingly and rightfully has earned in his career with his skill set and his playing style.
Yep.
But the Mavericks are in the way, and they've been playing great and shutting him down in the final in the past 3 games.
Yeah.
Still, I'm going to stick with the Suns.
Game 7.
Suns in 7.
Yeah. Game 7 Luka could be dangerous.
So all right. So just to let y'all know once again, our predictions for the game 7s. Both of us have the Celtics and the Suns. Game 7 for both of those games are Sunday, tomorrow, ABC 3:30, Bucks Celtics, and then TNT 8 o'clock, Mavs Suns. Should be a fun 2 game 7s. I'm looking for 2 good games, but I think my predictions are right.
Shit, I hope you pray my predictions are right.
Why do you pray? You don't care about these teams. Well, you care about the Suns. But...
Hey, Luka could be dangerous, bro. In elimination games, oh my god, Luka scares me. He's like Larry Bird. You know how Larry Bird put fear into people's hearts back in the day. Like, have you ever heard your parents or whoever was an OG back then tell you about Larry Bird, whatsoever, how dominant he was? Yeah, that's the type of fear that Luka's showing me right now, man. I'm kind of scared, bro.
Imagine getting killed by one foreign player just to get killed by another.
Right too.
Oh my god! But Suns, don't. Okay. But hey. All right, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune into our next podcast. Don't cut me off this time. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Shorts channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
Also, tune into our Instagram and our TikTok.
Yes, down in the description below. And once again, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this was the Mind of Basketball podcast.
Playoff edition. Well, semifinals, moving on to the conference finals edition.
No, it's still playoff edition. That's the playoff.
Yeah.
It's playoffs. Anyway, our next podcast will be Monday, since we'll have to cover the 2 game 7s.
Okay.
If that's okay. Okay. All right. Peace out, everybody.